We all know that sleep is essential for our well-being, but can lack of sleep put us at a greater risk for cancer? Well, absolutely, says WebMD's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Whyte.
A lot of people don't take sleep seriously. In fact, there's that phrase, I'll sleep when I'm dead. But what's happening to our bodies and our brains when we sleep?
I think it's partly because we do it every day. How important can it be? We'll catch up on it later. But sleep is more than just turning the brain off. It really isn't that at all. There's lots of activity going on in the brain, just in different areas. And some people liken it to it's your antivirus protection on your computer that's working in the background, or it's your dishwasher at night. It's really allowing the lymphatic system, that part of the body that gets rid of toxins, to have its time to do its job. And it doesn't really do that when we're very active during the day.
Yeah.
That's why sleep is so important, but we don't take it seriously.
I love that analogy of it's like my Norton security scan. That's such a genius analogy. I know that from your book, that there is a relationship between sleep and cancer. Will you explain that?
This is something that we've learned really over the last few years, because cancer really is a disease of inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't get enough sleep, you have inflammation throughout your body. And we saw this particularly in people that do shift work, that have these unusual hours. They're working at night, and then it's very hard to sleep during the day. And we saw an increased incidence of breast cancer. And some countries have actually reimbursed women that have gotten breast cancer that did shift work. And again, sleep is about that circadian rhythm that we've heard about that goes up and down. And it's related to different hormones, cortisol and melatonin, that play a role in our cancer risk. So if you don't get those under control through good sleep, you're not going to get your cancer risk under good control.
Is there any way to repair that after the damage, or is the damage done?
It's all about the daily choices that we make over time. And it's about getting quality sleep. That doesn't mean if you work late at night that you can't get good quality sleep. It just makes it harder. And people don't do it because you got to pick up your laundry, you got to do grocery shopping, everything's not available 24 hours. So what do? You're like, I'm going to take care of all of these tasks. And then before you know it, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you haven't gone to sleep. And then we've learned with evolution that it's really about cleaning out your overall body and your immune system. What's the first thing you do when you get sick? You don't feel well.
You sleep.
You go to sleep because why? You instinctively know that you need sleep to help fight infection. And we've seen that in terms of white blood cells coming, to your defense, those natural killer cells that we want to utilize.
You did talk about 3 main ways that sleep impacts the cancer risk. Let's touch on those.
Sure. The big one is weight gain. When we don't sleep well, we typically gain weight. Some of it is because we're stressed and we're not able to get to sleep. So what do we do late at night? Tend to eat. We're never eating carrots and hummus. We're eating chips and ice cream. So we're going to put on weight. The other big issue is in terms of our immune function, as we just talked about, the role of cortisol, the role of melatonin. They got all messed up. And that impacts the ability of your body to fight infection, to fight this inflammation. And then it's really about changing cell behavior. And cancer cells really need a place to live. They need a home. And there's this scientific principle that if they don't have a home, then they can't survive. They can't literally put down roots, blood vessels. It's something called angiogenesis. They build their own blood supply. Lack of sleep actually helps them do those things that you don't want to do. So when you sleep, you're actually able to have those normal functions of your cell. And when you don't sleep, it's hard to keep doing them. Sleep really is one of the main risk factors that you can control to take control of your cancer risk.
That's huge. How much sleep would you say that we need?
Now, I'm going to tell you, there is a genetic predisposition where some people can function on 5 hours of sleep a night, but they're the exception. Very rare in terms of this phenotype. And I know people like to boast, oh, I can function on, 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. Nobody wants to do that.
No.
What you really need is somewhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Okay.
If you're tired when you wake up, that's your body telling you you need sleep. You know what you could do if you have time, since we're all home a lot? It's called a sleep vacation. It's not really a vacation, but it's something when you don't have to get up at a certain time. You do that for about 4 or 5 days in a row. No alarm clock, no need to get up at a certain time. See what time you naturally awake in the morning and how many hours you slept. That's your body telling you how many hours of sleep you need. And for most people, 80–90% plus, it's somewhere between 7 to 9 hours.
All right, you heard it there. The goal, people, 7 to 9 hours. I love all that practical advice from Dr. Whyte.